Hello, my name is Evan Mooney, and this is my best friend Chris Hodge, creator, owner, and mead maker at Laughing Dragon Meadery. About a year ago, Chris and I were spending some time together, as best friends do, and I asked him a question. I said, hey man, if you could do one thing for the rest of your life and make a living out of it, what would you do? He thought a while, gave me some answers, some of which were good and some of which were not, and then eventually came up with that he would love to take all the ciders and meads that he makes for his friends and do that professionally. I thought that was a fantastic idea. And then he proceeded to tell me an entire story about his stepmother, whose father was actually a brewer at Wiedemann Brewing Company in Kentucky, which later became Pabst, was later sold to Pabst Brewing Company. Well, it turns out she was childhood friends with a little guy named Jim Koch. Jim Koch, the billionaire owner of Sam Adams. Apparently, their fathers went to the Siebel Institute of Brewing in Chicago. Well, I thought that was an amazing story, and turned out the whole night we just started talking about all these ideas. And I said, why don't you make this a reality? I said, why not make this something you do for the rest of your life and a calling that you were born to do? For a moment there, he wasn't sure, but I made sure I told him I was very serious by throwing a pillow at his head like good friends do. So, at that point, we decided to talk about logos and flavors and brainstorm about what the next parts were for the creative endeavor. And about a week later, we got together and said, all right, what's the next step? I said, look, I'm very serious about this. And we said, all right. And so we went out, bought a couple 5-gallon pails of honey, and started making recipes and developing techniques. And thus, the dream was born.
There are over 3,000 breweries in the U.S. and only a couple hundred meaderies, and many of them aren't in production. Brewing equipment varies as much as cars do, and without knowing exactly what you need, startup can be very daunting. We've been given a huge opportunity to do an internship with one of the biggest meaderies in the U.S. Groenfeld Meadery has been very gracious in inviting us out to come learn the ins and outs of the small but growing industry. We've been in communication with Ricky and Kelly Klein, owners of Groenfeld Meadery, for almost a year now. We took an immediate liking to them when we realized that we share a lot of similar views. One of our biggest passions is to share mead and the knowledge of how it's made to the world.
We're very excited at this opportunity to bring to you our passion, our vision, and our mission. We want to be very clear that if you choose to be so generous as to donate, the money will go towards two things: travel and lodging. The rest of what we do is this out of the graces of the Groenfeld Meadery to give us more knowledge about what we do. So guess what? If the money we've raised happens to exceed the total amount, that is going to go directly towards our overhead and our business expenses. We are grateful for your time. Please check out all the information on the sidebar in the post. And on behalf of Chris Hodge and I, we thank you so much for your time and your generous donations.